Hey everyone, I'm Jenny Cleary and I am your transformational nutrition coach. And today I wanted to talk about orthorexia. What the heck is that? I didn't know about this until learning about it a couple years ago while in school and finding out that I actually had that. Okay, I'm laughing, but it's a serious matter. So the reason why I'm talking about this now is because in media it's coming back up again. Because if you haven't heard of this person, her name is Jordan Younger, and she used to be a vegan, and she used to have the blonde vegan was what she went by. And then she started to develop orthorexia, and I'll explain what that is in a second. And now because of becoming so obsessive, she left veganism and now is called the Balanced Blonde, and she's coming out, and this came out like a year and a half ago. I mean, I didn't know any of this, and so of course a lot of the vegan community went crazy and it died down a bit, but the media is coming back up and shining light on this, which I'm glad it's shining light on orthorexia. Because she's coming out with a book called Breaking Vegan. So I have two things that I wanted to really talk about, which is orthorexia, what it is and what it really is, and slightly a bit as vegan orthorexia, and is veganism bad and restrictive? Okay, so the first part, what is orthorexia? So orthorexia is what happens from starting to become really obsessive with eating a certain way that you believe is correct and right or healthy. So it doesn't have to be, but it can be counting calories, it can be not eating certain foods, or even how foods are prepared and becoming obsessed with that, right? And so I mentioned briefly earlier that when I was in school learning this, it was so funny because I was reading about this and I was like, holy shit, that's what I have right now, because I, at that moment, was really obsessive with organic food, and I had to eat everything that was organic only food. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to eat clean. Now, this is where some people are like, yeah, fuck clean eating. Like, that shit isn't right, and throw it into the trash can because it's going to make you crazy and become an orthorexia. And no, that's not the case. You can eat healthy and be healthy about it and not go mental and insane in the membrane about it. So the difference is wanting to eat clean and wanting to, there's nothing wrong with wanting to eat organic food and having as much as your food as organic as possible. But the difference is when you start obsessing about it so much, when you go without eating sometimes because of it. There were some days back, years ago when I would be like, oh my gosh, I can't find anything that's organic, that I would be so stressed out from it, so worried, and then a lot of times, I would just go hungry because I'm just like, okay, the easiest option is just to starve right now, and I'm just gonna go to sleep, and hopefully tomorrow, some better options will happen, because sometimes I wouldn't get hungry until 10 or 11 at night, and the options are obviously gonna suck. It's like Jack in the Box and McDonald's, and of course I don't want any of that stuff, And a lot of times, my at least decent fallback to go onto was Chipotle, but Chipotle closes at 9 or something. I don't know, but it's not the late night food that you can do, right? So just being more prepared for that. But I started to really realize that because there was a certain amount of period of time where I was under eating and not doing certain things because of it. And I just became really so obsessive with it, wanting to do things the right way, wanting the best for my body and my health. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you start to stress and become obsessive about it and not be able to think about anything else and actually really live your life that is when it starts to turn to orthorexia. And that isn't cool. And I know I'm not saying like Jordan or, putting her in a bad light, because I think we've all have been there, and it's definitely has gone to more extremes for some people than others. And for Jordan, like, she went to a rate where she was having 800-calorie meals a day, which was mostly just like juices, and then was going down and shriveling down to like 101 pounds. So I'm glad she got help and have her work through those issues so that, certain foods weren't seen bad anymore. And if you are definitely going through this, definitely start to see someone to work on this, because it really is an eating disorder and it's something that needs professional help with. I didn't see anyone professionally, but I probably should have because there definitely was moments where it was getting kind of serious. I wasn't getting to that level because thankfully I love food so much that like I'm still gonna eat. It's just, it was the other extreme. So I would just like eat something else and, just shame myself and give myself all of this negativeness because I wasn't eating the right way, and I would just starve and then just like binge on something else. So it was just like a mixture of both, right? But the reason that I do want to shine light on this is the overall trend in all of these eating disorders is this stress and this obsession with it. And when you start to obsess about things and stress about things and want things a certain way, you are not going to get healthy. And this is the sad part, because originally with good intentions, and then you like going to one extreme and focusing on that puts your body in stress, and actually it just, whatever, even amazing things that you do finally, like, okay, you've been stressing this whole time to get this organic meal, or in Jordan's case, because I wasn't vegan back then, this vegan meal to all of the parameters that she believed in her mind were righteous and good for her, or healthy, or prepared in a certain way, whatever. When you stress out through all of these moments to finally get it, and then when you finally get it, when you eat it, you're still stressed out because your mind is still in this, in the fight or flight mode. And when you're eating anytime in a fight or flight mode, and it doesn't even have to be in a stressed or obsessed way for your food, it can even just be like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry up and eat because like I'm late for this and I gotta do this. And anytime you're in that kind of state of mind or being, your body is not optimal. It is not going to digest that food because it doesn't really care about food or nutrients at this point. It thinks it's being attacked by a bear and a tiger, and it's like, okay, whatever, scarf down that food. I'll like digest some of it, but whatever. I just need to get out of this hostile environment. So once you start to realize that and start to calm down and to really go back to being really mindful about your life and about what you're doing and eating, and you start to take deep breaths and slow down in life, that is when you're really going to just start really getting your food, and your body is going to finally breathe and be like, okay, I can relax now. I'm not being attacked by a tiger or a bear, because sadly, in our day and age, small things of anything trigger that and put us in fight or flight mode. So our body just really doesn't know these things that aren't really a fight or flight mode, and just put us in that mode. So when we're not stressing or obsessing about stuff, that is when our body can really heal and really take in all of the nutrients that of the healthy foods that we do eat, and really start to live and be healthy and vibrant and shiny. And this is something I've been learning more and more all the time because it's so hard. We've been grown up to be in this fight or flight mode. We really have been. So really training ourselves to get back to being grounded and not in that like, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, I got to do this and that, and really slow down and being mindful about things. So, that's what I wanted to share with you about. But in the sense that I kind of didn't like what Jordan did which is why I don't like labels in general, is because of her taking it to not really focus on, she is focusing on orthorexia, but putting slightly veganism on a bad light, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to not eat meat or dairy and eggs, and for that to be seen as like bad, right? And for her to say now, like changing her name from the blonde vegan to a balance blonde, I think is what it is, the balanced blonde, that kind of like using these words to signify that you can't be balanced on a vegan diet, which is not true at all. Like for her, maybe, but you shouldn't say that, like, I don't know, kind of doing those implications. And then also coming out with a book saying Breaking Veganism, you know, and having to leave veganism to finally become balanced, where it's totally actually the opposite. There's so many studies out there that show how being on a plant-based diet is so healthy for you and helps even reverse heart disease. Like, there are studies that clearly show that from being on a plant-based diet and low-fat diet. There's no studies that show like you eat meat and you can reverse heart disease. Like, there's none out there that shows that at all. So I do want to shine that light in it. I also, because coming from where I am, I do believe that, you know, everyone has their own unique individual diet, and to really tap into what are your foods. But in all essence, and I'll put links down below to share this, and so for that you can be more educated about it, but really, there's nothing wrong with eating healthy and becoming healthier, and to want to strive to live that lifestyle, and especially if you want to take it to the next step and leave meat out of your system, because you will see heaps and bounds of your energy levels, of everything. But when you take it to the extreme and, you know, obsess about it and see it in this way and be like, yeah, I must lose weight now and I'm going to do it this way, and just be really restrictive and just put all this stress on you, you're just not going to see the results, and you can develop things like orthorexia. And I really hope, if you are on that path, that you do seek help, that you really start to see that it's okay to be at where you are right now, and to really start exploring maybe mindful eating as being a tool for you. It helps me in a lot of ways to slow down and be more present, and to really enjoy the food that I'm eating at that moment in the present now. And if you would love to learn more about that, I co-founded a group called Living Mindful Eating, and we have a free Facebook group community where we do monthly challenges of a 3-day mindful eating, where it doesn't matter what you eat, but just to bring a mindful practice to it. So if that's something you would definitely love to join in about, I would love to have you in that community. Please check down below about that. And also, I just want to add in about this happiness factor, because a lot of times with these eating disorders, we're not really happy with what's going on in our lives right now, in this moment, because we feel like, for example, if we're at a certain weight, or if we eat a certain way, or if we look a certain way, then we will finally be happy. And that's a lot of times where like the stress comes in or the anxiety, right? Because we think in the future, that is when we will finally get our happiness. And so that's why we just become more anxious and more stressed out to kind of achieve that now, because like who doesn't want to be happy, right? And I want to be happy now. Like, why do I have to wait a month or 2 months later or a year later? Because you hear about how much toxins are in our bodies just because of years and years of freaking destroying our bodies with like the SAD diet, the standard American diet, that yes, it's gonna take a while for all of this to happen. But that doesn't mean your happiness can't be now. Like, you know, and that you have to wait a year or two to finally be happy. And so, you don't need to obsess about it. And so when you start to realize that you can be happy now in whatever state you are, and just to really love yourself now for who you are, even if in your mind you think you're not perfect and you're not at where you want to be, you can still love yourself now at this very moment where you are, because you are perfectly imperfect, and it's okay, and it's awesome, and it's part of the journey, and it's guided you and taught you so many things throughout the process. And when you start to see things through this light, that is when it starts to become transformational. And that's when you just start being happy like now and not later. And I feel you guys, because I've definitely been in that process. I definitely have struggled where some days I notice this and I start to realize that I'm not happy with where I'm at right now. And why? Like, what is the reason for that? And why would I lose my happiness? Because I am total in control of my happiness. Why would I lose my happiness and love for that thought? And all I have to do is just change my thought. And when I changed my thought to, I love my body for what it is right now, you know, and I can be happy right at this moment, then you're just going to live a more happy and abundant life, and you're not going to stress about these kinds of things, you know, like, oh, well, you know. And another thing that I love right now is doing the best that you can now. So even if it's like choosing the best out of the worst, right? So like you feel like, oh, I'm just given all these lemons in life, right? And I can't, you know, and everyone's like, make lemonade with it, right? Like that's like the saying for it. But another way to look at it is, you know, like let's say you live a really fucked up life. And trust me, I've been there. There's been moments where it's like, everything in here just like sucks. This whole basket just sucks, you know. It's also just like a state of mind of how you look at it too. But anyways, let's just put on the negative glasses and just say everything sucks from this basket. But within this basket, there's still like something that's better than the others, right? Because there's sometimes even when I go to the market and I'm just like, wow, these are really poor quality fruits. But I really want a fruit. And so I'm going to try to pick the banana that is the most ripe at this moment, even though they are all like pretty much like not near that, right? But there can be, I'll be able to find one that's a little bit better than out of like the rest of the worst, right? And so when you start to do that, and you know, a little really does go a long way, and the positiveness starts to pick up and replacing those negative thoughts from it. And then with time, and this is what I've done with like all of my habits, like which started off with just, you know, ignoring Coke, has become like crazy. Like, what? I don't eat meat anymore? Like, who would have thunk? It's so crazy. But taking those baby steps along the way, you will reach there, and it will just come really easy and really naturally. And then the next thing you know is when you look back, like there really isn't like a worse bunch in the thing, because you've been slowly picking like the best of the worst. And then the next thing you'll know, you'll have the best of the best. And I really do truly believe that. And just looking back already on my health journey, it's just so crazy where I've come so far. And even now, even though now, like, I am so happy with where I'm at, where I am now, even when I look to the future, like, I know I'm going to be even more badass. Like, it's going to be crazy. And so even though that future light of me, of I can't even say it anymore, badassness is going to be there, I don't have to stress and worry about that whole process of me getting there. And if I'm happy where I'm at now, but just see where I'm going to be later on and be really excited for that and go towards that. You don't have to worry about the whole like steps of getting there. Just focus on today, what you can do to be happy and loving to yourself for today, and what food choices can you make today that will get you there as well. So, I really truly believe every day we make daily detoxes choices or cleansing choices, because, you go in and they'll be like, would you like a salad or French fries with that? And don't get me wrong, there's been days where I'm like, French fries, and then one week out of the day, one day out of the week, sorry, I reversed that, I'll be like, no, I'm going to have a salad. And then that change, and then like over time it's pretty much like automatic where I pick salads now. Hey, but don't get me wrong, maybe every once in a blue moon I will pick the French fries, but really tuning into that and how every day we have those choices, and I'm not going to judge you, and nobody else is going to judge you when you decide to do something that you feel like will make you happy. And everyone has their quote unquote cheat days, or days where their body is just yearning for something. And when you really tune in to really knowing your true desires of what your body wants, then it's totally fine. I'm not going to judge you for that. And you shouldn't let anybody else's thoughts or concerns guide you on where you should go. It should only be what you're like, number one, you really are number one. So I hope this helps you in seeing this in a bigger light, and to really just calm those nerves, and to really not stress, and to think about the future, because I think that's what a lot of the eating disorders come to. And what I stressed with a lot, because I was just so worried of wanting this particular body that I had in my mind, and thinking, doing these certain things and stressing about it and wanting to get there in the most optimal time, because you just want that happiness now. And you can have it now. You really don't have to do anything. And to really be present with what you have, and to have that gratitude, so huge. So I really hope some of these tips will help you with that. In the meantime, let me know if you have any other questions about this, but I did want to talk about both veganism and orthorexia and how they're not the same thing. If you're vegan, that doesn't mean you have orthorexia. There's nothing wrong with wanting to eat healthy. It's just your mindset, and if you let it make you go insane in the membrane about it, because let's be real. Living is not about eating, okay? Living is about living. And eating just happens to be a small part of that. So you shouldn't be obsessing about food 24/7. And not wanting to eat meat and having those certain foods as restrictions don't make you orthorexia. It makes you orthorexia if you start becoming obsessed about it and can't think about anything else, okay? So I would not want that to happen to you. And there are ways for you to fix the orthorexia mindset on a vegan diet, but you don't have to leave your beliefs on being vegan to do that. It's just your own mindset and being okay with how you are now, not being in this constant fear of wanting to get healthy and feeling like you're so sick and damaged and, you know, if you eat a certain way, this and that will happen to you. So I do want to stress those two differences. They are completely different things. And yeah, so if you have questions, please leave them below. If you don't feel comfortable because there's trolls or whatever, you can always personally email me at connect@jennycleary.net. Once again, that's connect@jennycleary.net. Also, please like this video if you like this. Please also share this video because I don't think a lot of people know what orthorexia is, and I think it's actually pretty common, and I'm so bad. I'm like, if I had it, somebody else had to have had it, definitely. And it could just be for a little while, and I think that is key to really just educating about it, because I think even a lot of us have had it for just like a few weeks, right? And then, you know, they ditch a diet or whatever and be like, that's crazy. Like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And in some instance, like, that is true and that is right, right? So really just sharing about that so that we can really kind of put it to an end, to not have people stressing and obsessing about this all the time. And because when it, like, negativity feeds negativity, right? So the more that you're focusing on that, it's just going to become bigger and bigger and bigger. So the earlier that you can notice these signs, just like with any health, you know, to really start being preventive about it and just becoming aware about it early, and to kick it in the butt earlier so that you can start breeding positive thoughts instead of those negative thoughts. I'm a really huge advocate of that. So please share this video if you resonate with it, and to share with others, and especially those that you think might be dealing with this kinds of issues. Also, please subscribe above to my channel if you like this video and want to learn more about things similar to this topic. I'm all about living the fulfilled life and not doing that through food, because I think a lot of times, if you were like me, I was an overeater and I got love and fulfillment through my food. So it has been a long, hard knock journey for me to not rely on food to live a fulfilled life, and to really, through mind, body, and spirit, you can really live a balanced, fulfilled life, even as a vegan, even as a plant-based diet, or not even doing that, but not being chained to certain foods or whatever life. Anyways, so please subscribe if you want to learn more about that. I would love for you to join me on this journey. Also, if you feel like you need more help one-on-one, please check out my website at jennycleary.net and click on the Let's Chat button, and we can set up something to see if we are a good fit. In the meantime, I love to tell this to everyone, is that I love you guys, because a lot of times we don't notice how amazing we are. We live in a society where we're told we're not good enough, we need to be like this or like that, and no. You are freaking awesome just how you are. Like, really, you're amazing. I'm telling you, you're amazing. So please stop all of those negative thoughts that are floating in your mind, and stop it, and start embracing how amazing you are, and really, really love yourself unconditionally. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.